So this is Faith's Oven, and I hope you are returning. If you are brand new here, down below there's a subscribe button. Go ahead and push that subscribe button. Today in Faith's Oven, we are going to be making something that my girlfriend Tabitha used to make for us, and we would indulge the entire day. That was the meal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It is called French toast bake. The only time of the years that we would get that is by Thanksgiving and by Christmas. She would do it that night, that morning. She would pull that guy out, put it in the oven, and we would have the time of our lives eating that French toast bake. So it's a pretty simple recipe, pretty easy. The only thing that, it's not even work, but all you're gonna have to do is make sure that you put it in the refrigerator overnight. That morning, take it out 30 minutes before you wanna cook it. You gotta have it out by at least 30 minutes. Let it get a little bit, almost room temperature. And then you're gonna put it in the oven to bake for about 30 to 45 minutes, okay? So ridiculous. You do not want to skip this breakfast. It's great for the holidays, it's great for your family and friends, and it's great if you just want to impress somebody. Let's go, Faith's Oven. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. French toast bake. Okay, so first things first, we're going to start off with some raisin cinnamon bread with vanilla. To me, this is the best bread for the French toast bake, aka souffle. And then we're going to start off by cutting our bread into squares. So I cut it across and then across again. You see exactly what I'm doing. I feel like it comes out better. Instead of using a whole slice of bread, I cut it into these chunks. And I'm going to end up using the entire loaf of bread. Sometimes I use less, sometimes I use more, but in this instance, it was the entire loaf that came out excellent. And when we cut it into the squares, I feel like it's better for the edible part of when we get ready to eat. Okay, so we're going to set the bread aside, and we're going to add 8 ounces of cream cheese and 1 stick of butter. I'm not quite sure. It's not the small sticks of butter, but it's the regular size stick of butter. And you want to take these cream cheese and your butter out that morning so that the night before when you get ready to make it, it's soft. It's at room temperature. So we're going to mix that combination together, get that going. And then we're also going to add about a teaspoon of vanilla to our combination also. And then we're going to also add about 1 cup of powdered sugar. I didn't realize I'd used this much powdered sugar. This is why when you get ready to eat, you're not going to even need any syrup or the cream cheese. You can eat it just the way it is right when it comes out the oven. But we're just going to mix this combination together. Get it mixed up really, really good. Because we don't want any chunks or anything in it. So we finish that off. Scrape down those sides. Make sure that you get every bit of your butter and your cream cheese and your powdered sugar because it is going to be delicious. Okay, so we're going to pull our pan back into motion because we're getting ready to spread our cream cheese combination all over that layer. So it's going to be 2 layers of bread. So on this first layer, we're going to go ahead and add the cream cheese and butter. You guys know I'm a butter girl. I love my butter. And we're just going to spread it all over. It's so good, you guys. It makes no sense how good this breakfast is. It's probably the best breakfast. It's one of my favorite breakfasts ever, besides biscuits. I love biscuits also. Okay. So spread it all over. Make sure that it's evenly distributed over all your bread at the bottom, that bottom layer. Okay, perfect. So then we will go ahead and add the remainder of our bread chunks for the next layer, actually. Okay, so we're adding. And you kind of want to make sure that it's all over. You know, you don't really want to have deep holes or big gaps, just so that when you get ready to pour your egg mixture. So this is our egg mixture. You just want to make sure that it gets all over. You're going to use 8 to 12 eggs. In this case, I used about 12 eggs. I used vanilla, and half and half, you're going to use 2 cups, and then you're going to use a half cup of maple syrup and a teaspoon of vanilla, of course. Okay? So one by one, we go ahead and we do our eggs. I don't know why I recorded this much, but you guys just sit here and watch with me. So we get our eggs going. I'm also going to actually add more cinnamon. I feel like it just sets this dish off. It just makes it so good. I love cinnamon anyway. And then your house, when you put this in the oven, is gonna smell so good. It's gonna be wonderful. Okay, so here's my ½ cup of maple syrup. Do not skip this, okay? If you do, it won't be a big deal, but I'm just saying don't skip it, okay? Then I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of cinnamon. And we add our 2 cups of half and half. And then we go ahead and we mix that all together. Oh, and our vanilla, I'm sorry. About a teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, mix it. And I'm actually gonna use my mixer to mix it really good so that those eggs, because you see I just stirred with the fork and it did nothing to the yolk of the egg. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix that really well. Okay, so good, so good. So we're going to go ahead and we will pour our combination all over our bread and our cream cheese. And as you pour, make sure that every piece is getting soaked with our wet ingredients, because it just, when you let this sit overnight, everything will expand and it's not going to be all juicy like it looks right now, but just make sure you get every single piece. And you want to fill up the whole entire pan. So I'm letting you guys see this and watch this. And you're going to go ahead and let that marinate overnight. So we're going to cover. And if you don't have a top, oh yeah, and you want to look on the sides. Make sure you look on the sides to make sure that you can see that your wet combination on the sides, to make sure that it went through all the bread. You're going to cover. If you don't have a top like I have for this dish, then go ahead and use some foil. So I put some foil on it so you can see that also. And I added it to my refrigerator. You're going to let it sit in the fridge the whole entire night. Okay? You're going to get up, take it out the refrigerator that morning, and make sure you let it sit for about ½ an hour before you put it into the oven. Let it sit for about ½ an hour before you put it into the oven, okay? So I'm taking her out. And I'm going to let her sit. So I actually took it off, the top off, the foil anyway. And I let her sit. So you see what it looks like. It looks like it doesn't look as juicy as it was, right? Not at all. So I'm going to set my oven to 350 degrees. Of course, we want to set it to 350 degrees before we get ready to do it. So while you're waiting for that ½ an hour for it to, you know, get to a better temperature, so it's not real cold before you put it in the oven, just make sure that you set your oven to 350 degrees. And right here, I put it on for 30 minutes, but I actually cooked it for about 41 minutes, you guys. 41 minutes was perfect for it to bake. So, but you want to make sure you get your fork and you poke it in the inside. It's going to be not moist, but you'll see the cream cheese come up on your fork. And that's what you see, that with those white pieces going through, you see that's cream cheese. Wonderful. So delicious. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and cut it. And she expands and she rises when she cooks also, but she's going to end up looking like this. You know, so you see how she's flattened out a little bit? Okay, so I'm going to cut her. Let's get her out. Ooh. So good, guys. It looks so good. Look at that. Juicy, nice and moist and beautiful. I know you cannot wait to taste that. The best thing ever. It's one of the best breakfasts ever. Do not skip this recipe, guys. And I usually have mine with fried potatoes. I'm a fried potato girl. I need to go ahead and do that recipe for you guys. Or sometimes I'll just do oranges. I've made it several times. So here I'm just showing you, if you wanted to add something to it. I had leftover cream cheese frosting, so I just added some to the top. And then here's some maple syrup. I don't need anything. I really don't need the cream cheese frosting or the maple syrup on top, but I just showed you guys because that's an option if you guys want to add that to it. My husband loves to, and so does my mom. And anybody that's had it, most men like to add the maple sugar, that extra sweet. So it's delicious. Hope you guys enjoy.
Yo, I'm up in this piece. I just came from downstairs. I was creeping on my wife, saw her doing this. She can need to get paid.
You need to tell them what you meant by creeping, because that sounds real bad.
Oh.
I was creeping on my wife. Really?
Is that what I said?
That's what you said.
I snuck in.
He always trying to bust
downstairs. It don't matter. Watch the video. Maybe just add some drama, get our viewings up. We trying to get paid.
He's so silly.
Up in this piece. Don't put that on there.